Is there anyone else that you think can be in the mix? There's two other guys that I can see if things break right for them, have a chance to be able to get themselves into that discussion, right? One of them is Mikhail Brown. And we're talking about a kid that is actually 6'5", that is actually a point guard, that was actually the best player on the U19 team that had some of these guys on it, right? I know AJ won the award, but Cale Brown was, I mean, anyone that watched any of those games will sit there and say, yeah, he was the best player in that tournament, right? So, what does he have to do in any of your mind? I don't know if any of you are really high on him, but what does he have to do to be able to get himself into that conversation, and can he force his way in there?
He's for me, he's on an island by himself in that four spot. Like I and if he shoots over 40% on like insane volume this year from three, then maybe. And a team is just like, we so desperately need a point guard. Then I could see it because the tools are there. The growth spurt seems to be there. He looks bigger physically than he did, this time last year. So he's getting stronger. He's getting a little more explosive. Like even when you just look at his vertical pop and his first step in FIBA compared to the start of his senior year last year, it's different. And he's grown a ton. Even when he's not shooting well from outside, he's finding ways to impact winning. He's making winning plays. He's doing the little things. He can play on or off ball. I really, really I love Brown. I think he's going to be a monster at Louisville this year, but I just really struggle to see him dethroning one of those top three guys.
Corey?
I mean, I love Michael, and one of my former players was at DME post grad last year, and he had like I was asking him specifically about his work ethic, and he's like sick worker, tireless worker. I love him. I'd have to add that he also would have to show some like real high level playmaking chops, and maybe not like Trey Young type playmaking, but I think he needs to be able to show that he's
Please not Trey Young.
well, he's able to ride the rides at Disney World. So this is a different player. But can I throw a different name out as
Yes,
far as because I have Michael in that 4 to 6 tier. I got it bad for Caleb Wilson headed to UNC.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's my dude right now. And maybe we clip this later and we're like, Corey's an idiot. Wouldn't be the first time. But
I'm writing it down right now.
Show's canceled.
Caleb Wilson.
Get the timestamp.
Oh, we're gone. We're booted.
Yeah, it was fun while it lasted.
Thanks for having us, Rob. That's
No, I think when you're talking about like modern NBA prototypical build, you're looking at a 6'9", 6'10" kid with a reported 7-foot plus wingspan who every time I watch his game, it's like peeling another layer of an onion. And I just, I'm writing my notes. I'm like, all right, connected playmaking. And then I'm like, oh, wait, he just hit like a live dribble skip to the weak side of the floor. Oh, wait, he just did it again. Oh, wait, that's a sick outlet pass. Oh, he just hit an off the bounce three. Oh, that midi, that turnaround. Oh my God, he just posterized somebody on a putback dunk. Oh, he started diving for a ball, ending up on the bench, got back into the play, and then blocks somebody out at the rim and sends it to the front row. Like, if it breaks right, if it breaks right, this is a kid who has every tool that you want. There are questions. The shot is super questionable. And that's something he's going to have to show some consistency with. But we've already mentioned, like, AJ's got some concerns with his shooting. Tyler doesn't think he can shoot because he was 11% in the FIBA tournament. Darren Peterson, between, like the 3SSB and even prolific, like his percentages aren't, great either. So there's a lot of questionable shooters at the top. I think he could throw his hat in the ring. Now, I will say, much like Kansas, UNC hasn't been a hotbed of top prospects as of late. But I mean, Drake Powell was not very good last year, like as far as like an NBA prospect, and he still got drafted at 22. So like, I think that this kid is a way better prospect than Drake was. And for me, he's right there in that next tier. And if he shoots, he's going to enter that conversation to me.
Yeah. Rocker, give me a name. Who you got?
Rob, I'll go to bat for you. I think Michael's got a shot. I really do think he's got a shot to get up into that conversation. A lot of things need to go right. Some things probably with those top three would maybe need to go wrong, but from seeing him in person to what he did this summer at FIBA, I'm like, this is a different beast now. And this kid's got confidence. He's playing with some swagger. That Louisville backcourt's going to be firepower. So he's going to have a lot of opportunity to also light it up because of the attention drawn other places. So you just, the height growth, the tools he's got. When I first saw him in person, I was like, man, this kid is just a floor general. He could set the table. He's got good feel. He plays bigger than he looked. I think my only concern with him this year is how does the strength come along? How does he adjust to, immediately? He's still a thin frame. So if that can kind of water itself down and the finishing numbers are fine, he just showed some stuff this summer at FIBA. I was like, oh my goodness, look at this.
I think he grew up this summer. Like,
yes,
he went from being a kid to now he is what was it? He grew like 3 inches in the last year and like 6 inches since his junior year in high school or something like that. He went from being an actual kid to being an actual grown up now. And I think that once his body starts to fill out after that growth spurt, I just, you're taking some bets there. And to me, the way that I would probably put it, and you guys can tell me I'm an idiot if you want to. Corey, I'm half expecting that, but
Goodman's been texting me that the whole show.
I feel like it would be very hard to not take one of those other guys top 3. But I feel like in a lot of other years, Brown would be a guy that it's like, yeah, he's the obvious number 1 pick. He just so happens to be in a year where there's 3 guys that would also be like the obvious number 1 pick in a normal draft year. If you were to tell me in 10 years that this 6'5" point guard put on 30 pounds of muscle and figured out how to make threes, and now he's finishing because he actually is strong enough to be able to absorb contact and turns into a guy that's 25-8 at the next level, I could absolutely see that being something that comes to fruition. Last name I got for you, right? And we haven't talked about him yet. And I'm super torn on this dude because I feel like he has a ton of long-term potential. I don't know how it's going to work his freshman year at Tennessee. That's Nate Ament, right? Like, he's a guy, a shot maker. He's got size. You can see why he is exciting as a prospect. I'm not quite sure if he's exciting as a basketball player yet, Corey.
Man, you're playing the hits today. It's another guy that Metcalf hates. Nate Ament, he's going to be really intriguing, man, because, this is like the hot girl at the blonde, like the hot blonde girl at the bar, like that everybody is just eyeing up because he's 6'9" and long, and he's kind of fluid. But like, what's his personality like? Like, when I buy him a drink, like, what's going to happen there?
He took a weird turn. Like, we're
really weird turn.
Where are we going?
I'm big on analogies. All right, leave me alone.
You can tell.
I'm happily married, so calm down. But he's got so many fun skills, and like, he's going to show these flashes that are super intriguing because you're going to look at a guy who's 6'9" and long, who's knocking down shots off the bounce. Like, if you just play his McDonald's All-American game, like first possession of the game, he's just ISOing AJ and just drills a 3 right in his face. But then, you see some of the areas where he struggles in that same game where, like, they put Michael Brown on him, who, is like 6'5" and needs to get stronger, and he's bumping him, and he's like settling for like turnaround mid-post faders, and like teams really were comfortable doing that. Trey McKinney, strong guard, but not as tall as him. Darren Peterson, again, like giving up height. Like, teams were just comfortable letting quicker guys who could beat him to spots because he doesn't have like burst off the bounce. And they know that like he's comfortable shooting mid-range shots and he's capable of hitting them for sure, but like, he'll shoot them and teams will live with that, right? Because he can't get all the way to the hoop every single time. But he is really intriguing, and I think there's a floor there because teams don't let guys with his tools and his skill level like fall that far all the time, as long as his attitude isn't, questioned next year. So he's hard for me too. I've seen him in a couple of different contexts. He never really knocks my socks off. There are times that he's okay just being invisible, and there are times where he decides to turn it on. He looks awesome. And those players are going to be really contentious. And then Tennessee, what's that going to look like? Is he going to be given free reign to do the Dalton Connect thing and like go for 25 every night? Like, as a freshman,
it's a big ask for a freshman.
That's a big ask. So I'm skeptical, but like, I still think coming into the year, he's a top 10 talent. I just don't think he's in that top 3 discussion